And sir, you are Cole Corner. And you'll have to unmute yourself, Mr. Corner.
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So Ms. Tolzman, you can come up and we can. So we're on the record in docket 22-03452. That's Hunter Town Apartments versus Cole Corner. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Alex Tolzman, Your Honor, appearing on behalf of the attorney of record for the plaintiff.
And sir, you are Cole Corner?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay. This is the time set for a formal hearing in the matter. I have previously that all parties were present and met on January 25th. We set it for formal hearing today. Ms. Tolzman, how are we proceeding?
Your Honor, I haven't had an opportunity to discuss with this tenant as he's appearing via Zoom, but we are prepared to enter some form of judgment this afternoon.
Mr. Corner, would you like this is the time set for a formal hearing today. Would you like the opportunity to speak with Ms. Tolzman, who's a legal representative of Hunter Town?
Yes, sure.
In order, I don't know, we can put you on an iPad, or if you can join us in some way, then I can put you both in a breakout room.
Okay, yeah.
Which would be easiest for you?
Probably an iPad.
All right, so the same court officer that you were going to get the copy from, when he shows up, I'll tell him to put you on an iPad and we'll both put you in a breakout room.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So Mr. Corner, stand by and we'll put you in a breakout room in just a minute, okay?
Sounds good.
Okay. Mr. Keski, did you want to go on your case? I believe Mr. Reynolds is present.
Yes, I think so.
All right. So we're on the record in docket 22-03540. And that's 3614 Glenbrook LLC versus Carlos Reynolds. And would the parties please make their appearances for the record?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Don Keski for the plaintiff, and also on Zoom is Mr. Kip Wilson from Renaissance Property Management.
All right, thank you. And sir, you are, and you'll have to unmute yourself, Carlos Reynolds.
Yes, sir.
All right. This is the time set for a formal hearing today. We previously met on January 25th. There was an indication that the parties all met in a breakout room. I have a note that there was a working on trying to get rental assistance. Mr. Keski, how are we proceeding today?
Mr. Wilson, has there been any rental assistance, or are you ready for hearing, or do you want a breakout room?
I think I'd like to speak with Mr. Reynolds, and we did receive a payment, but there's still a sizable account and balance, and so I just wanted to see what his game plan is before we proceed, if that's all right.
Yeah, Mr. Wilson, Mr. Keski, would you like to go in a breakout room with Mr. Reynolds?
Yes.
All right. So I'll have Mr. Keski, Mr. Wilson, and Carlos Reynolds placed in a breakout room.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thanks. Mr. Wilson, you should get a prompt to go to that breakout room.
I'm sorry, Your
There we go. Mr. Levine, you're here on Bala Malik versus the estate of Luz Mari.
That is correct, Your Honor. That is
So
correct.
it's my understanding that, and correct me if I'm wrong, you were seeking an adjournment today to make sure that any type of service issues were taken care of?
To an extent, I think there was a little bit of a miscommunication in more than one way. So my client and I think a little bit of a language barrier. I was under the understanding that what needed to be done, i.e. an affidavit to support the publication and or the posting was already done. I talked to the property manager about 20-25 minutes ago, and he said that it wasn't. So I just wanted to bring it to the court's attention. It was more of a heads up saying, hey, this is what's happening. So it's more of like a heads up of non-action yet. And if the court wanted to reset it. But I understood from the court's clerk telling me that, we'd have to leave it on for the defendant. I was just letting her know that there is no defendant in light of the defendant passing.
Right, yeah, because no notice was given. Yeah, however you want to proceed, just as long as we make sure that the motion for proof of service is granted, we can adjourn it. I guess that would be the safest thing to do, is an adjourn it with a date, so you have a date certain, and we can set it up that way. I don't know if we have to go on the record on this, but I think this is easiest done to adjourn and give you plenty of time to do whatever motion you need to be done. Is that fair, Mr. Levine?
That's more than fair. And to be candid, Your Honor, briefly, that's what I was trying to allude to. So I think there may have been an inadvertent miscommunication with the court staff.
Right.
So obviously none of it was intended to be other than just offering a way to lessen the court's docket this afternoon. Just
right. And I wanted to make, but I wanted, yeah, it's a good idea to have this. So let's we'll adjourn the formal for service motion. And then, so we set it out 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, that'll be fine. That'll be entirely fine, Your Honor. And more than thank you, Your Honor.
So service motion, adjourn for service motion. Let's see. Yeah, we'll set for new formal hearing. Let's just go right. Yeah, let's go right to the formal hearing. Yeah, it's about right. Yep. So June 7th.
June 7th.
At 1:30. I've just reset it for formal hearing. So we'll just treat it as if this is just an adjournment, okay, Mr. Levine?
Entirely
or Levine, I should say Levine.
No, that's fine. I appreciate that, Your Honor. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, thank you. That's all for the record, docket 2202-998. Thank you for your appearance today, Mr. Levine.
Thank you, Your Honor, as always. Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you.
And Mr. Malik, I think that's your case today, right?
Yes,
All right, so you're free to leave the Zoom courtroom or you can stay. It's up to you. All right, sir?
sure.
What's that?
I was trying to figure out which code it needed to be set for. It's just answered me. Thank you.
All right, so we're back on the record in docket 22-03540, and I'll readmit Mr. Wilson, who's a property manager. There he is. All right. Mr. Keski, did you have the opportunity to speak with Mr. Reynolds in a breakout room?
Yes, Your Honor, and I think the parties have agreed to a conditional dismissal.
Okay,
And we could give you the terms on the record and then send that in tomorrow.
absolutely. So what terms would you like placed on the record, Mr. Keski?
Okay, the tenant agrees to pay $1,000 on Wednesday, April 5th in certified funds by 3 p.m. And then in 2 weeks later, which would be Wednesday, April 19, he would pay the remaining balance plus April rent, which would total $2,882.90 in back rent and $1,330 for April rent, for a total of $4,212.90.
All right, and what was the 2,000 number again? I just want to make sure I have that. 2,000 was
The
the number right before, go ahead.
$1,000 on April 5th, which is a Wednesday,
Right, and then the other
and the
$2,000 plus what?
and the remaining,
Go ahead.
and that would leave back rent of 2,882.90, plus he would owe for April then of 1,330, so that totals $4,212.90 to be paid on Wednesday, April 19th in certified funds by 3 p.m.
All right.
Mr. Keski, that 2882.90 also included 240.4 in court costs.
Yes, it's all inclusive.
Okay. And Mr. Reynolds, is that your understanding of the numbers that you agreed to in regards to the conditional dismissal?
Yes,
All right. And Mr. Keski, did you need Mr. Reynolds' authorization to sign the document before forwarding it to the court?
Yes, and he agreed to that, I believe, so that we would send in the conditional dismissal tomorrow with my signature and then his indication by permission at the hearing today.
All right, permission agreed to sign to allow order to follow. Mr. Reynolds, do you have any questions of me concerning the numbers or the numbers that have talked to? This is a little bit, but $1,000 by Wednesday, April, looks like April 5th,
yes,
and then April 19th for the remaining, which is $2,882.90 back rent, and the court costs $1,330 for a total of $4,212.90 to be paid by April 19th. That's your understanding of this agreement?
yes.
All right. So, Mr. Keski, the court will await the order to catch up with the file. Is there anything else on file 22-03540 from the plaintiff?
No, that should complete it, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Reynolds, you're all set. You should get, the court will review the order sent by Mr. Keski, all right, sir?
All right, thank you.
All right. And Ms. Wilson, you're all set too. So that's all for the record in docket 22-03540. Thank you, everybody, for your appearance today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah, thank you.
Don, are you off to Buchanan's?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Bristol, breakout. And ma'am, you have a hearing today?
Yes.
What's your name?
Angeli Askew.
All right, you're here for a 245.
Yeah.
How are you today?
Good, Your Honor. How are you?
Are you on Sandhurst?
Yes.
Okay. And have you had the opportunity to speak with Ms. Dickerson?
Yes, I was just out putting together a conditional dismissal.
All right.
I think it was printed.
All right.
Did you review it? Okay. Okay, we'll put it on the record. We'll go in front of the court and have to do that. Do you agree with everything? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So when you're ready, we can put that on the record.
Okay. Sorry, I was in Judge Buchanan.
I figured, and that's what they told me, that you were elsewhere.
Yeah.
And I know we're all fighting over lawyers today.
Do you understand? Okay. So we can
All right,
go
so
on.
ma'am, you can come up here. And we're on the record in docket 22-03639. That is Sandhurst Apartments versus Shakora Dickerson. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Catherine Gable for Jeremy Piper on behalf of plaintiff.
And ma'am, you are Shakora Dickerson?
Yes.
And you can hear me all right, Ms. Dickerson?
Yes.
All right, this is the time set for a hearing in the matter. Miss Gable, how are we proceeding?
Thank you, Your Honor. We have actually reached a consent order for a conditional dismissal. I can place the terms on the record if the court would prefer. Defendant shall pay the following to plaintiff. Rent in the amount of $1,532. Court plus court costs in the amount of $155 for a total of $1,687. The further conditions is that the defendant shall pay $500 towards the total balance owed as defined by the conditional dismissal by March 31st.
March 31st.
And then defendant must pay April rent in full by April 1st.
By April 1st.
Defendant shall pay $500 towards the total balance owed by April 21st, 2023.
By April 23rd.
Defendant shall pay May rent in full by May 1.
All right.
Defendant shall pay $687 of the total balance owed by May 15.
Okay.
And all payments must be paid on or before 3 p.m. on the date due. If defendant fails to pay rent or other costs or meet any other conditions as set forth above, plaintiff may seek entry of an order for reinstatement of the case and entry of judgment. And part A is checked, is the plaintiff shall file an affidavit with the court and serve the defendant with the affidavit and notice as required. If defendant does not file verified objections to the affidavit within 14 days of service of the notice, the order for reinstatement of the case and entry of judgment, a judgment for money if eligible, and an order of eviction shall enter simultaneously without notice or further process.
All right. And do you have an order for me to sign today?
I do. Sorry, you need to sign. So the only thing, I checked this box. I thought it was checked, but it didn't come across on the computer for some reason. So you sign here. And then just write the date underneath, that's fine. The 27th. May I approach?
May. Thanks. I have in my hand the conditional dismissal, which would indicate the nature of what was said on the record in regards to rent, court costs, the total amount, and then the particulars in regards to the payment towards the balance owed is all typed up here. And so, Ms. Dickerson, you understand
Yes.
You understand that the document I'm signing?
Yes.
Okay. And do you have any questions concerning the document? All right. I'm going to sign the conditional dismissal. And you can get a copy from my court officer.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Your Honor.
Anything else for the record in docket 22039639? Ms. Gable?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Anything else, Ms. Dickerson? All right. So you can get a copy of that from my court officer. Thank you for your appearance
Thank
today.
you.
Balance. Ask who's here on Mr. Lum's last case. All right, Mr. Corner, we'll wait for the attorney to rejoin us in the courtroom, and then we'll place what happened in the breakout room on the record. All right, sir?
Sounds good, Your Honor.
All right. All right, if you're there, Mr. Corner, you can unmute and we'll place your case on the record. The attorney said you may be talking to your father about this. Are you all set there?
I'm all set, Your Honor.
All right. So we're on the record in docket 22-03452. That is Huntertown Properties versus Cole Kerner. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Yes, Alex Tolzman, appearing on behalf of the attorney of record for the plaintiff.
And sir, you are Cole Corner?
Correct, Your Honor.
All right, and Ms. Tolzman, you had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Corner in a breakout room. What came out of that meeting?
I believe we're agreeable on a consent judgment, but I want to ensure that we're still at that place after he had a moment to discuss.
So is
I
that your
believe
understanding?
so,
Mr. All right. So did you want to put any numbers on the record?
Yes, Your Honor. I have a rent to retain possession of $4,790.48. Court costs of $167.50 for a total of $4,957.98. The defendant has until April 6th to either pay that full amount or move out.
April 6th date to pay or vacate. And that's your understanding of what was discussed, Mr. Corner?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And did you give permission to Ms. Tolzman to sign your name to any documentation that needs to be forwarded to the court?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So permission was granted. And did you have an order for me to sign today?
Yes, may I approach?
Yes. Also, let the record reflect I'm signing the consent judgment of the numbers previously discussed. Right, okay, 167. Anything else for the record? Docket 22-03452, Ms. Tolzman.
No, Your Honor.
Anything else, Mr. Corner?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so you're all set. We can mail you a copy and we'll provide a copy for you. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, you're all set, Mr. Corner.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And then Ms. on docket. So we'll go ahead and put this on the record. This is what I received today, and I'll let you take a look at it. It appears that Mr. Minzy provided medical documentation that he's at the hospital.
Okay.
And we can make you a copy of that.
Okay.
So what the plan is, and we'll put it on the record, is since there failed to appear, if we'll set it out, but we won't set it out as a usual hearing. We'll set it out. We'll try to get it in within the next month.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just all right. But that came by fax today from the doctor.
Okay.
So we'll provide you with a copy. And it did take it did have a conflict as of today's date, March 27th, but I will make you a copy.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, so we're on the record in docket 22-03454. And would the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Yes, Your Honor. Alex Tolzman, appearing on behalf of the attorney of record for the plaintiff.
And this is a time set, it's time set 2:15 for a formal hearing today. And as indicated, we received documentation from Cedar Creek Hospital of Michigan indicating that the defendant Jalen Minzy was being treated under the care of a Dr. Melvin on today's date. And then there's a signature, it was signed by staff, and then a number to call to confirm. With that understanding, then I'll note for the record on the January 25th date, the tenant did fail to appear. We had service by attachment, so we moved it to this date. And now this date, there's a conflict and inability to attend with documentation. So with documentation for tenants failed to appear, we'll reset, and we reset it within a time frame that I think is a little closer to today's date than our usual time frame.
Okay.
So what's
April 24th at 2.
April 24th at 2:15.
Is that via Zoom or in person?
You tell me. This, I have Zoom was okay for today's hearing.
Okay.
I'm good for concerning that. If you expect there to be any contested testimony, just let us know and we'll tell everybody to be here live.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. So anything else for the record? 22-03454, Ms. Tolzman.
No, Your Honor.
All right, that's all for the record. And then if you want a copy, I don't know if we made you a copy already.
Of the doctor's note? No.
No, okay.
I'll take one so I can.
Yeah,
send it
we'll
over.
provide you with documentation that was provided to the court. And you have one more case.
Yes, one more.
How are you, Mr. Lum?
Your Honor, I have two so far conditional dismissals that will be there.
All right, thank you. 7. Oh, we can go ahead and call that case.
Okay, she's
Yeah.
not here.
I don't see her in the Zoom courtroom
Okay.
because we'll have Nathaniel call her in the hallway, but
Perfect.
so we're on the record in docket 22-03457. That is Huntertown Properties versus Elizabeth Richardson. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record?
Yes, Your Honor. Alex Tolzman, appearing on behalf of the attorney of record for the plaintiff.
All right, and this is the time set for a formal hearing today. It was scheduled for 2:30. It is now 3:07. And if Miss Richardson, Elizabeth Richardson, is not in the Zoom courtroom, is not in the physical courtroom. I'm gonna call just in case her name, just in case she's wandering around. I'm not sure anybody's out there.
Just to make sure. You
Yeah.
never know.
Well, it's happened before. They've been sitting out there.
Mhm.
So. Anybody? All right. So it appears the defendants failed to appear, or the tenants failed to appear. This is scheduled for 2:30. It's now 3:07. Ms. Tolzman, how would you like to proceed?
We'd like to enter a default judgment at this time, Your Honor.
And did you have any numbers you wanted to place on the record?
Yes, I have a rent to retain of $11,714.94. Court costs of $167.50 for a total of $11,882.44. The tenant has until April 6th to move or pay that amount.
All right, and you'll follow up with an order to that effect?
Yes, Your Honor, I have one. May I approach?
You may. Let the record reflect that I'm the same numbers as previously discussed in the landlord tenant. The defendants failed to appear today, and I will grant the default judgment.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Anything else for the record? 22-03457, Ms. Tolman.
No, Your Honor.
All right, you're all set. Thank you for your appearance today.
Thank you.
So Mr. Lund must have already met with a couple of those. If he already has conditional dismissal. I think it helps if we just. On that case, Mr. Levine.
I always want to be.